Good morning and welcome to Family Computer Center. In this video, we are going to discuss about Excel VBA programming basics. Microsoft Excel is a spreadsheet that is used by millions of people around the globe. Excel itself is having many formulas and functions which will cover or which will satisfy your requirement. But still, Microsoft is offering you the options to write code behind Excel to satisfy your customized needs. For that, we use Excel VBA. VBA stands for Visual Basic for Application. So, you can write codes in Visual Basic language to create your own business or personal application if you know the Visual Basic programming. Hopefully, once you complete the series of these videos, you will be able to do this. So in here, I'm going to show you how to display the developer tab on the ribbon in order to do the VBA code. Okay, so you already know about the tabs, right? So these are the normal regular tabs available on your Excel interface. There is Home tab, Insert tab, Page Layout tab, Formulas tab, Data, Review and View tabs. All these tabs are holding commands related to the tab name. So data processing commands are organized under the Data tab. Okay, basically frequently used commands are organized under the Home tab. So for Visual Basic developers, we have a special tab offered by the Microsoft, which is called the Developer tab, which will be having almost all the options to help you write your VBA codes. Okay, so usually the Developer tab won't be displayed on your ribbon. So what you have to do is you have to go and activate the Developer tab. So for activating the Developer tab, you have to go to the File, then you have to click on Options. All right. Then you have to go to Customize Ribbon. So under the Customize ribbon, you can see here main tabs, and all our tabs are having check marks except the Developer. So what you have to do is you put check mark for the Developer tab and you click OK button. So once you click OK button, you can see the Developer tab also added on your ribbon. So when I click the Developer tab, I can see all the options which I need for writing my Visual Basic code. Next, we will see how do we go to the Visual Basic IDE. Visual Basic IDE is the place where you can write your codes, run your code and test your code when you are doing programming with VB. So to go to the Visual Basic IDE, you can go to the Developer tab and there is an option called Visual Basic. So when you click that Visual Basic option or Visual Basic button, it will take you to the Visual Basic IDE. So this is the Visual Basic IDE. So I will click some of the options here to show you usually how does it look like. This is how the Visual Basic IDE looks like. Okay, so if you want to go back to Excel, either you can close this Visual Basic IDE using this red cross button, or you can click on the Excel button. It will take you back to the Excel. You can even use the keyboard shortcut Alt F11 to go to the Visual Basic IDE and the same Alt F11 to come back to Excel. Now we will see what all things we can see on Visual Basic IDE. So in Visual Basic IDE, there is a menu bar and there is a toolbar. And below that, in the left side, we have something called Project Explorer, where you can see your project details like sheets name, the workbook, the file name, all those things you can find here. And just below that, you can see a property sheet of the clicked object. For example, if I click this workbook object, it will show the property of that object. So in future, we will be learning why we use this property and how to set the property for a selected object. Okay, and this is the button looks like a play button. This is a button which is used for running the code you have written, and this is a button if you want to break the code, break the running, and this is the button to stop the running of the code. Okay, so all these three buttons you use for testing your code. Okay, and in order to write the code, we need a text editor. For writing the code, the text editor here we use is called a module. So for adding the module, where you have to go to Insert and you have to click on Module. So once you click insert module, you can see there is a new module added to your Visual Basic IDE. Okay, and in the project explorer you can see that module as module 1 under the module directory. And you can see the first thing you have to do, like when you add a module, is to change the name of that module, because when you are doing big projects you will be having more than one modules in your Visual Basic project explorer window. So it will be hard for you to identify which all codes belongs to a particular module. So always it is recommended to give a name for the module. So when you are naming the module, make sure that you are not using any keywords and you are not using any spaces or special characters. Okay, so I'm going to name my module as general underscore codes. I'm using underscore because I'm not permitted to use a space. So once, like when I come back to this Visual Basic IDE in future, in simple sense I can understand this module contains general codes. So we have made the general codes module, and now we are going to write some codes inside this module. For writing the code, we use either sub procedure or a function procedure. Sub procedure or function procedure is a block of code which will do a particular task. Okay, so the function procedure can return some values. Sub procedure cannot return a physical value, it can execute some code we have written. Okay, so we will come to the details of the function procedure later on. Now we will go with the sub procedure. For making a sub procedure, you start with sub, then you put a space, then you write the name for the sub. Okay, so any name you can use, but you can't use a name which is a keyword, and you can't use a name with a space, or all other names are permitted. Okay, so I write sub welcome message and I open close the bracket, then I press enter. Automatically you can see there is something called end sub came up. Correct. I will press one tab to keep my cursor just away from the margin. That's not a rule, that's a programming practice. Like when you're starting writing the code you write in an indented way. So this will make your code looking really good. Okay, so now I'm just giving a function called msgbox. Msgbox is a function which is used to show a message to the user. So we will come back to the details of the msgbox function in another video. Now here we are just checking how to make a sub procedure and how to run that sub procedure. So in the msgbox is a message box, and I'm just writing hello, welcome to VBA. Correct? I close the message. So I have started a sub, and inside the sub I have written a message box, and I closed the sub. Now how do we execute this code? For testing this code, you can simply use this button. So when you click this play button or run button, so it will show hello, welcome to VBA. So this is the message box. Okay, so you might be thinking this is not possible. You come here and you click this play button to execute the code. So this is not the real way of executing Excel VBA codes. Excel VBA code must be executed from inside Excel, not inside VBA. So this play button is given here for testing your code. When you write your code in the middle of the code or something like that, you want to test the code, you can use this button, and you want to stop testing, you can use this button, you want to pause testing, you can use this button. Okay, so next task for us to combine or connect this sub procedure with a real button in Excel. So for that I'm just moving back to Excel. So when I move back to Excel, in our developer tab we have something called insert option. So when I click the insert option, you can see there are some controls. There is form controls and ActiveX controls, and under the form control you can see something called button, and under the ActiveX control also you can see the same button. So you can either use form control button or ActiveX control button. There is no big difference between those two. So I'm just prefer to use the form button. So I click that, and my mouse point is turned into a plus mark. Now what I'm going to do is, like, I'm just going to drag on my Excel screen. So once I drag, immediately it shows like connect a macro to that button. So you can either connect it directly from here, or you can cancel this message and connect the macro later on. That's also possible. So the assign macro assign macro dialog box shows the macro available with a message. This was the name of the macro, or this was the name of the sub procedure we have written inside the Visual Studio Code. So I click that, then I click on the OK button. So you can see button 1, it's showing button 1 and the macro is connected to that button. So I don't want to show button 1 here. I'm just here saying like click me, right? So when I type click me, there you go. So now we have a click me button. So when I click this button, that code got triggered. This is actually one way of making the button. Okay, so now I'm facing a trouble with this button. If I resize my column, button also goes like bigger, smaller, depends on how I make it bigger or smaller. Correct? So I want this button to be freeze even if the people resize my column. So for that, I will right click on the button, then I will go for format control. So in the format control, you can see there is something called properties, and you choose the option don't move or size with cells. Then you click OK button. So now onwards, even if you make your cell bigger, the button will not change. Correct? So this is one way of making the button. So in this way, the VB is giving you a button looks like exactly same like the buttons you see on the software. Even you can make some fancy looking buttons using the shapes. So I will show you that also. For example, I go to insert, then I go to the shapes option, and I will under the rectangle I will choose the second one, which is a rounded rectangle which looks like a button. So I just add that rounded rectangle like this. Then under the shape effect, I will go to preset. I will choose this one so that my rectangle will look like a raised button. So now even I can change the color if I want to change. So I will choose green color and I will write on it click me, same like that. Okay. So now I will change the alignment of the text to center middle. Okay. So now this looks like a button. Okay. So now there is no VB code associated with this button. So what you can do is like you can right click this button, then you can choose the option called assign macro. So when you click the assign macro, again assign macro dialog box will come, and you choose the macro you want to associate with this button, or the VBA code you want to associate with this button. Then you click the OK button. Then when you click this button, the macro is running. Right? So same like the other button, this is also like when I make it bigger, it goes bigger with the cells. If you don't want that, you can right click again, you can go for format shape, and you can click this size and properties option, go for properties and choose don't move or size with the cells. Okay, now even if you make the column bigger or smaller, button will stay as it is. So this is the basic VBA programming stuff you do always. Like you activate a developer tab and you go to the VB IDE, you add a module and you write the code inside a sub-procedure and you connect that sub-procedure with a button and you run the code. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure that you subscribe to our channel so that you will not miss any further video we post. See you again. Bye for now.